All right, there we go. Hey, this could be a really fun day today. We're right on the front side of a front right here, and we're working weed lines today. What we're going to concentrate on today is showing you different things to do on weed lines in the summertime. One of them obviously is going to be a swim jig, but we're going to go into some really cool detail. Do not miss this episode. This is Hook and Hunt TV.
Well, I'm going back to my hometown, hang around with my friends. I'm going back, stomping grounds where the party never ends. I'm going back, southern land, baby, it's good to be back home. Well, I finally got myself back on track. I'm going back, yeah, I'm going back. Woo! I've traveled so far, and I've been guided by southwestern stars, searching for a different way. Just to make it through these cold
There he is.
days.
That's a good one right there. Man, he ate that thing. Get in here. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. This is fun. Beautiful fish right there. So what we're concentrating on here right now is you see these weed lines and any indents in the weed lines right here. I'm running the swim jig right through there, and we'll go over a little into detail. This is a Lure Parts Online stroker swim jig which I built, and we'll go over the trailers and everything like that. We're still trying to figure stuff out. I mean, we have not been here 15-20 minutes yet, but right now from the fish that we've caught, it seems like any indents in the weed lines typical of summertime bass. I'm guessing they're feeding on the bluegills right now, and because we're starting to see them swimming around as well. So we're going to check this out a little bit more, but so far it is starting to develop just the way I like it. Anytime you catch them on a swim jig, whew, God, that's fun. There he is, right there. Look at that, shake that jig, and he came right out and grabbed it again. Come on, buddy. God, this is fun. Oh my goodness, this is fun. Oh yeah. I love when a plan comes together. You know, there's still nothing after all these years. You have good days, you have bad days, and then when you just figure it out and it all comes together, there's still, after all these years, there's nothing better. That was fun. That's like 2 casts in a row right there. Let's see. Let's just see if there's another one there. This segment of Hook and Hunt TV is brought to you by Covercraft, car covers, seat covers, sunscreens, floor mats. Covercraft, protection for whatever you drive. Stuck in that grass right there, unfortunately. There's fish, right off it. Right off it. Attaboy, come on. God, I love when I hit that swim jig like that. That is so much fun. This is a swim jig is one of the easiest baits to throw, but there are some, look at the belly on that guy, but there are some little subtleties that you can get. I'm throwing on the back of this today. I started out with a craw, and they just weren't responding to it well. They were coming up and biting it short. So I went with the Shields swim bait trailer on here, and it's black and blue and purple. It's a cloudy day, it's a little darker day, that's why I went with it with just a little white on the bottom. You know why I grabbed it? It just, something told me, grab that one, okay? But I always like them to come close to matching a little bit. And one of the reasons I like the white in there is because then sometimes I'll shake, as I'm throwing it out, I just don't reel it straight. I shake the rod tip. So that bait's puffing, it's flaring. Sometimes I'll let it drop over the weed edges. That white shows off that flare in there, like a bottom of a bait fish. That's my thinking on it, and it's definitely getting some strikes. So we're going to continue to go down this right now. Sometimes when you fish just ahead of a front, the activity can be fantastic, and we're seeing that today. Right on the edge of those weed lines there. There he is. Good one there. God, is that a fun? Is that fun? Oh yeah, eating it, man. I'm gonna show you something about this swim jig. Look how that fish is hooked. I'm having these stroker swim jigs made with VMC hooks. Everybody knows I love those, but look at that right there. That is buried absolutely buried. Oh man, this is fun. Now that we figured it out, this is fun. Come here, you. There. Oh, that's a lot better. Come here, you. Oh man, are they eating that thing today? Holy cow. Look at that. You make your own stuff and they swallow it like that. That's beautiful fish there, man. Next. All right, so they tore up that trailer. I'll even tell you the color I'm throwing on this one. This is purple pearl. I love this. This is just a Shields swim minnow right here, 5-inch swim minnow. I don't need the whole bait on here, but I love the action on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bite off the head and then thread this right up on here like so. There we go. Nice, quick, simple, easy, and back to fishing.
Got this Lure Parts Online bladed jig that I'm following up with Jimmy's swim jig, and I think this works too. Let's get him in.
Nice one, buddy.
Oh, man. There you go, yeah.
There it is. Goodness gracious, man, they are hammering that swim jig. Come here. Oh, man. There it is. There it is. Oh, yeah. That is fun. When I'm throwing a swim jig, and we'll go over a little bit more of it later, but when I'm throwing a swim jig, I throw heavy braided line. I'm throwing 50-pound Suffix Performance braid. 30's good. The reason I like 50, it just seems to come off the reel easier because it's a little bit thicker line. But when you're reeling through this hard stuff, I'm using when I'm using that swim jig on it, it's just a lot easier for me to make longer, more accurate casts. I don't have to worry about anything. I can bring the fish in the boat. I swing a lot of these fish unless they're over 4 pounds. And so with this heavy duty hook on here, plus this 50-pound braid, those fish aren't going anywhere. On top of that, on a tight line, braid is more sensitive than anything. So I can literally feel that tail stop or that bait stop. I can feel the vibration stop. That's when I set the hook. When the fish comes up like that and you just feel the bait stop moving and they're swimming towards you, that's a bite that I'm looking for because they're not slashing it. They're coming up, they're eating it and swimming off with it. That's exactly the strike I want. That tells me I've got the right depth, the right retrieve speed, and the right color. They will tell you what you want. We all need to listen. So the approach we used today is we targeted fish that were using these deeper weed lines. And as you saw, we basically just stuck to 2 lures. I was throwing the Lure Parts Online Stroker Swim Jig. Now on cloudy days, I really like the darker colors. Unless it's in the fall when there's more of a shad bite, then I will be throwing white. But this time of year in the summer, I throw this black, blue, and purple a lot. And the trailer that we used on it was a Shields swim minnow. And this has actually got some purple and blue in it. The color of this, I think, as we said, was purple pearl. And with that white bottom underneath, when I would go to flare that jig or shake that rod tip, you could see that white flaring off under the water. And I really think that added as an extra attractor. And I was throwing a 3/8 ounce size because we were targeting fish a little bit deeper on these weed lines. Now Kirk was throwing a 1/2 ounce bladed jig that I assembled from Lure Parts Online. And again, remember, on cloudy days, I like throwing throwing darker lures. So on this one, I used the purple blades that go with this. It doesn't put off flash hardly at all. It's a little bit more subtle, but with the heavier weight that he had on here and using that same swim bait trailer, as soon as he would drop it down over those weed lines, that action on that tail would just go back and forth and the fish were hitting it a lot in the fall. It was a really good 1-2 combination. The rod that I was using today was one that I made last year. And this is a Bushido blank, again from American Tackle, and I actually had this one dipped in Prime 1 camo, this is in their multi-purpose or MP pattern. I really liked it, and I matched it with the American Tackle Pro Staff reel. I was throwing 50-pound Suffix Performance braid. I throw that on my swim jigs. I throw it on the bladed jigs a lot as well. It's just, I can get really, really long casts combined with that microwave guide system on there, and it's just extremely positive hook setting. And as we mentioned in the show, remember that on a tight line, braid is more sensitive than any other line out there. So you can literally feel the bait stop, you can feel the blade get interrupted. Concentrating on that stuff and with braided line, even the subtle bites sometimes become solid hookups. So make sure if you're not using braid, really try it next time, because I know you will notice a difference. So that's the easy setup that we use today. There's more fish to catch. Let's get back to the show. Boy, buddy.
Oh man. I've been working this jig a little different. I haven't been just swimming it back every time. As you can see on these weed lines, taking and dropping it as it comes off that weed line and just walking it along back, and as it drops down, a lot of times they're hitting it on the fall.
All right, so if you look at the graph, here's what we're doing. Water temperature is 74 degrees right now. All right, and we're trying to keep the boat anywhere from 10 to 12 foot of water. We're on a steep bank that has a lot of grass. It's got some laydowns in it. And both what Kirk and I are doing is we're throwing a bait up there. We're just not reeling it right away. We'll reel it out, let it fall down a little bit. He's throwing that bladed jig, I'm throwing a swim jig. And it's a good 1-2 combination, because he's got a lot more vibration. I'm throwing that paddle tail on the back of it right there. It's a good 1-2 punch, but we've got to be in that deeper water. This has been one of the banks that's been really good for us. Again, if you look, the boat's in around 12 foot of water. That's where we want to stay. Yeah, we're catching some fish shallow, but overall, a majority of these fish are coming off the deeper bank. When that summertime pattern comes around, those fish are done spawning. They move out to some of these deeper areas, and with these grass lines right now, that's what we're concentrating on, is wind-blown, deep water with grass on it, and that's where we're catching our fish. It's always, like we always tell you, it's always pieces of the puzzle. But the more odds you put in your favor, the more successful you're gonna be. Look at that. Look how he swallowed that thing. Look how he swallowed that thing, man. Oh, goodness gracious. Now that, look at that. That is a way to end the day. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious, look at that. That was fun. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I hope we showed you, matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we showed you about how effective a swim jig can be when you're working weed lines like this. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the show, because we're going to give you discount codes, including one for Lure Parts Online, where you can start building your own stuff and having fun. I built the rod, I built the lure. How cool is that? An absolutely fantastic day, so make sure you stay to the end of the show. I also want to thank you for being here, as you are every time we have an episode. We wouldn't have a show without you. Thank you so very, very much. We're going to be on the road somewhere, someplace next week. Till then, all of you stay safe. God bless you. I'm Jim Crowley. We will see you soon.
It's good to be back home. Well, I finally got myself back on track. I'm going back to my hometown, hang around with my friends. I'm going back, stomping grounds where the party never ends. I'm going back, southern land. Baby, it's good to be back home. Well, I finally